Meeting to order. Everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last month's meeting.
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to approve them?
I'll make a motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second
Moved and seconded. Public comment on agenda items. Bobo, you got anything?
I'm satisfied with everything.
All right.
Just some updates. I can't remember exactly the date, but since our last meeting, I don't think we had been out to Cherokee with our championship games for basketball, but we had 3 games. Have we been out there since the last meeting? Have
No.
I updated you all on that?
No, that was, I think
That was a
right
great experience. We had our 3 leagues that we do tournaments in. We set them all up for the same night for all their championships, that, you know, back to back to back. The court was much bigger than the course that they're used to, but man, them kids loved it. The coaches loved it. Just playing on a bigger stage, similar to, you know, what we do with our flag football, playing out there at Cherokee's field. Just a overall great experience. So appreciate you letting us do that. Love to kind of continue that, because I tell you, it was a sight. I mean, then that was pretty much the last night of our rec leagues. Then we had all-star tournaments that we started last year in cooperation with Greenville Parks and Rec, Marshtown, and Cobb County. So there was 4 of us. We sent a 7 to 9 girls, 7, 8 boys, 9 and 10 boys, 10 to 12 girls, and 11 to 13 boys. So each rec department sent teams. We played at the new landings in Marshtown. Awesome facility. Last year, I think our teams won 1 game the whole weekend. This year, I think all of our teams won at least 1 game, I think.
Except for
Pee
one team.
Wee
Pee
boys.
Wee did, but everybody else did.
Lost. But we junior boys, our 11 to 13s, didn't lose a game. And our junior girls made it to the championship game for the 2nd year in a row. So we had a much better showing. That's a really cool event that really doesn't cost us anything. You know, we purchased some all-star jerseys last year that we've kind of just, we get them back. We'll add as we need each year, but I think I only had to buy like 6 this year. So really great event. March 1st and 2nd was when that was. They play, you know, there's 4 teams. They play each of the other 3 teams in pool play, and then into a single elimination tournament. And so everybody plays 1 game on Friday night, and then they come back on Saturday, play 2 more pool games, and then a first round tournament game. And if you win, you keep playing. But we're working to add other leagues into this in the coming years, but there's even talk that we might try to host it next year too, if we can lock down the gym space for that, because there is some money to be made. Greenville hosted it last year, and what they do is they charge a gate fee at the door to the parents and spectators. They use that money to pay the refs. We send referees, so they pay the refs out of that. They sell some shirts for the event, like 2024 All-Star Challenge or whatever, with all the kids' names from every team on the back. And the money that they raise, they pay all the staff, and then whatever's left, they keep and use it for, you know, Greenville redid their floor, I think,
Yeah, they just started that this week.
with that money, so there's potential there. But basketball's over, moving on. We had a Family Feud night on February 23rd. Had no idea what to expect from that, but we ended up with over 60 people. It was awesome. We learned a lot.
Turned into a few.
Well, we learned we need a bigger space to do it, because we had 16 teams. 2 dropped out, so we had to really change the format at the last minute. But we ended up with 3 different games going, with 4 teams in each game. And we had 4, didn't we?
You're 4.
We had 4 teams, 4 games going, 4 teams each, and we had to modify the loss of 2 teams. But having all that going in our room, it got loud, and so the contestants had a hard time hearing the hosts. But it was fun. Sorry, Marsha Blackburn's calling me. I think we'll try to do that again, but yeah, that was something new that Smiley and I just kind of brainstormed and figured out a way to run it. We learned a lot, but things like that are super fun. I think everybody had a good time. Youth baseball and softball has almost started. We've got most of our teams built. We have one more evaluation tomorrow evening. We'll spend next week putting rosters together, practice schedules together, and then start practicing the following week, the week after spring break. Our numbers are slightly down, which I didn't really anticipate, and it's odd that the biggest drop-off's in our T-ball, which is usually, that's the one that you expect the most in, so I don't have anything to attribute that to other than we've been growing and growing and growing and growing the last couple of years. You're gonna hit a wall at some point, and so.
How many did you have last year? I mean, just.
We're down in T-ball, I think we're down like 3 teams worth.
Yeah.
And then there's another league that's down 1 or 2. Most leagues are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have field 2. Y'all probably don't know much about our fields, but it's the one that overlooks the pond, and has been built on a bed of rocks at some point in the past, and had all these rocks up in there. And I bought an actual infield mix from this sports field company out of Knoxville. We put 25 tons of infield mix on it, and it looks really good. It's covered up a lot of the rocks, but not all of them. But it's really helped.
Is that down to earth or something like that?
No, I think they're called American Sports Products or something. I spoke with the guy, Parks and Rec director in White Pine, and he had just done it to his fields. And then I talked to some coworkers in Kingsport that I had, and turns out they were buying the same mix, and I'll try one load, and I mean, it's a couple $1,000. But man, it made a difference on that one field.
Yeah.
So I'd say after the season, or sometime this winter, I'll try to do a couple more. Because at some point in the past, they brought tons and tons of just straight up sand. And
Yeah,
it's
made
like a
it worse.
beach.
Yeah.
And that ball just, now this has more clay and sand and field conditioner all mixed in proper ratios, I guess. But it's a nice mix. It looks really good. It's like nice and red instead of that white sand. Plan on doing the other fields now because that one looks really good. Upcoming programs, we've got pickleball clinic for beginners at the end of this month on March 30th. I can't remember her name, who's doing it.
Can't remember either.
She's a certified pickleball instructor. She came to us interested in doing this for the community, so we worked out when and how many participants she could handle in one session. It's completely free. We just opened it yesterday and have already got half of the spots filled.
Yeah, I saw that, you taking 24 spots.
Taking 24, and we got 13 already registered.
That's a growing
It is.
sport, I think.
Pickleball's exciting. People's interested in it, and it's so new that, you know, like a lot of people, they just don't know how to play, don't know, and they know it's gaining steam, and it's new, so they don't know. So this will be an introduction. I can't remember if it's 10 a.m.
Yeah, 10 to 12.
10 to 12.
That's what I saw.
So looking forward to that. If anybody's interested, come out. You know, I think I've played before, so.
Still, I don't know all the rules about alternating serve and stuff like that.
It's-
I mean,
It's tricky. You need to learn it. I mean, it's not easy to pick up, but once you get it, it's pretty straightforward. It just takes playing it and getting used to it. As far as program updates, you have anything else that?
Just finishing up the summer stuff. I
Yeah,
think I've got we'll probably announce the summer before we get to the May meeting, so probably by the next meeting I'll probably have something to show everybody, or show you all.
What you did last year.
It will be.
I mean, you set the
Yeah,
bar high.
I know. I've got a lot of good stuff planned, and I've gotten some sponsors in to help cover some of the new stuff that we're doing. So I'm pretty pumped for it. So that's what I'm kind of doing. After we get baseball rolling and stuff, I'll spend the next little bit finalizing all that stuff. So hopefully at the April meeting I'll have something to show you before we release it to the public and stuff. But that's the only thing I've got.
did you schedule the following week off?
I bet you
to
wore out.
recuperate?
Yeah, I mean, I heard, like, I know y'all did too,
Yeah.
like, it was, yeah, everybody was talking about how great it was.
It was awesome. It was good to after we ended it to we dove right into flag football almost, but it was still nice to we didn't really do much extra programming after for a little bit just to kind of catch our breath. So we'll have another busy summer with that, and then the kids camp and stuff like that
That's
we'll
in
do
the works
again.
too.
So it's gonna
'Cause
be
that was a
good time.
massive hit last year. And just something that's not on here is the pool. We'll start working on it. I think we're gonna try to, we have to drain it to clean it, and that'll probably happen maybe by the end of this week, first of next week. We'll pull all the water out, clean the surface of it. We're already recruiting staff. I've got the same manager back, thank goodness. She's awesome. But it looks like we're gonna have a good crew of returning lifeguards, which is always helpful, having that experience. Even though they're young, they've got some experience to them. The preparation to open that pool's already underway. As far as grant updates, I've got a meeting this Thursday with the First Tennessee Development District and our engineer to kind of lay out a timeline of both the CDBG and the LPRF grant projects to just give us some kind of timelines, some deadlines to put on ourselves, say, well, I need to get this done by this day, so we can kind of, we need to have a design, or, you know, we're gonna have to hire an architect to design the bathrooms and the concession stands. So we need to go out to bid by this day, so we can have somebody on board by this day to have a design by this day, to try to get a break ground by this day and have it complete by this day and move on to this project. So we're gonna try to lay all that out this week. That way it just gives us an idea, a roadmap to follow. 'Cause I need something I need to be working on. I don't wanna sit here and just wait on somebody else when I could be working on something to help keep that ball moving.
How long do we have
I think it's 2 years. And honestly, I think you can apply for a third
That'll be
year.
here before you know
Oh,
it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, a way, and that's why it's smart to
Yeah.
have a game plan and timeline and.
This past week, there was a TRPA, is the State Parks and Rec Association. They had the East Tennessee workshop, East District workshop. I went to them on Monday, he went to them on Tuesday, but I went to a playground design class, like talks about all the different types of playground equipment. Went over some additional funding opportunities that I'm looking into that might allow us to add to the already we've got like 200 or 250,000 in this LPRF grant for new playground. If we go with this certain type of playground that's more inclusive, there's opportunities to add that they would match whatever we buy. So I'm looking into maybe really trying to stretch
it
that
out.
as much as possible, get as much as we can out of this one, you know, wave of additional playground equipment that's coming. So
Some of that playground equipment's pretty old, I mean,
yeah,
I mean, like,
most of it is
Yeah.
very old. That one piece up behind Pavilion number 2, up there behind the tennis courts, closest to the cemetery, you know, that's, in the near future, that's just gonna have to come out. It needs replaced terribly. That was put in, and I was working here 20-some years ago when that was put in. There's a few newer pieces that they've put in the last 10 years or so. But yeah, it's that main playground area,
yeah,
you know, and that bowl that, you know, we just need to overhaul.
yeah.
We're gonna create ADA accessible walkways through the playground area, connecting the parking and the pavilions, and so main thing is we want to do it right. We want to make it accessible, because you know that park is so old. There ain't much in there that's accessible by current standards. So everything we do now, I want to make sure we are
Up to code.
up to code, and will be up to code moving forward. And that's the whole purpose of building new bathrooms instead of trying to renovate the old ones or anything like that, because you'll spend just as much money doing that as you would building new ones. And we need the additional ones anyways. As far as the CDBG grant, the paving and the sidewalks, I've still not heard anything. They're still in the environmental review process. So I don't have much of an update on that, but we will be discussing those projects in the meeting, trying to coordinate certain work that will be done for both, like paving, like walkways. So there's certain things we can be doing. And with that, I think, at the BMA meeting this evening, we went through the process of soliciting for qualifications of engineers. We did that before we even applied. So Joe Parrott was chosen for that. Now I think tonight, we'll, if the BMA approves, we'll enter an actual contract with him. I mean, that's just a formality to get him officially connected to us, and so he can start doing work that's reimbursable. And like I said, and his fees, along with the First Tennessee Development District's fees to administer this grant, they're all taken out of the grant money too. They were all factored in, so the town's portion of those is just half. So still a
It's
pretty
still a
good deal.
bargain.
Still a bargain. So other than that, I don't have any new business unless anybody else does.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited to get back outside. I'm glad the weather's turned. Start playing out in the park again.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Moving second.